Hey world, BC everybody. I'm up early, so I'm going to try to make a post here. Top of the morning to you, even though you may see this at any time of day, but I'm having my coffee. Um, um, I'll just share some observations. I think that's what I'll do because I'm getting the message that people really do enjoy spending time with me, so here I am, folks. And again, I really, uh, even though everything is fine, my mindset right now is it's kind of heavy, and so I just thought I'd spare you guys yesterday. But if you want me to talk, then I'm gonna talk, and I'll just let it come out. Um, Musically, the first thing that I can probably share is yes, the YouTube vinyl community on Facebook is very active. I spend time on there every day that I have time. I like I don't like chat rooms. This is close enough. People have, there is a chat aspect of it, which I'm not into. That's too much. I like the directness of it, where you can be talking to each other, but you can come and go, different conversations. Chat room stuff, I just, no, I'm not going to do it. But anyway, one of the things that I discovered is that there are all kinds of people in the vinyl community, and there's another artist in the community who has just been quiet about his background, which I respect and admire because again, we're here mainly because we love music and records, and you guys know about my music inadvertently. I'm here because of records and music, not to sell it. I mean, that all happened as a result. And that's cool that this is how I found out about Brett Helm. I forget Brett Helm's name here, but in the vinyl community, he used his real name. But turns out that he has a band called Audra, and they were on the Project Records label. I don't have any of their single releases, but I have him on this Project Music sampler. Now, I know I have another sampler by Project somewhere. Um, my house is not a complete mess, but it's like I've got layers of music here. But his band, Audra, has the second track on this CD. Listened to it last night. I like it. This is considered dark wave. Some consider it goth. It's really good. And then he pointed me to a video of his band playing live with one of the women singers who was in Christian Death. And so once again, there's a connection. Even though Rick Agnew was out of Christian Death almost right away, he started the band Christian Death with Roz Williams and George Belanger. And Brett has played with, I forget her name, one of the women that was in Christian Death. And he's got a background, and it was just really, really neat to find out like that very innocently. It makes me think, which I've been thinking all along, we have other musicians and artists who are members of the vinyl community who are not bringing any attention to themselves, but probably have a background, and brings up another thing. Yesterday, as an administrator of the Facebook vinyl community, I had to delete someone from the group. I won't say this person's name, but it was brought to now the person, when they asked to join the group, they asked a couple times. I ignored them because I didn't get a good vibe. And they kept coming back, and they did provide information about themselves. So I said, oh, okay, well, you're not a complete stranger. I can see you appear to be into music, but there's still something negative about just the way he's presenting himself. I went ahead and let him in, and Glass Orchid Aftermath noticed it. I didn't even notice it, but the person had posted a video of their music. Wasn't very interesting, and it just seemed like the exact thing we don't want to have happen in the vinyl community, which is people coming in just trying to sell stuff. the vinyl community is truly about community and a shared interest and love in music and the different forms that it comes in. I tell you about my music and how to get it because you asked for it. This happened because you guys asked for it. I came here because I'm one of those lonely eggheads in life who has always been looking for his people, and it seems that I found you all here in the vinyl community, and so that's why I'm here. It makes me want to bring up another thing because I'm just real honest. It's like I've been leaving the cassette community alone because I'm not really interested in it. And even though I think part of what you said was joking, Mr. Hall of Fame, about, here he is, there's some truth there. But the thing is, I didn't come here trying to mess up anybody's party. I'm not up here trying to pull rank. None of that stuff. I really do feel like it's hard to be understood. I just love records and music and just wanted to find people like me, That's what brought me here. I'm not running no popularity contest. I ain't trying to do nothing. I find it rather paradoxical that I'm so charismatic and yet I want to be left alone. I do and I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like I like people, but people are insufferable. I can't really be around people the way I want to be around them much of the time. I'm just telling you what's on my mind. You guys want me to talk, so I'm not going to make it up. No one's paying me to entertain you, so you got to listen. You want to hear me, this is what's on my mind. Along these lines, this weekend I went out. Friday night I went out to Jenna's party. Then Sunday I went to a birthday party, and there was a jam session there, acoustic musicians, acoustic instruments, back porch. It was nice. I played for a bit. I played upright bass and mandolin. And as I was there playing and observing the situation, because I don't hang out much like that, I just don't. We're playing bluegrass and we're playing old 60s songs and blues because it's what everybody knows. And I just understand that that's part of the appeal of the music is that it's very, very familiar. Like while we were playing Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, we're playing that, and I'm kind of observing while I'm playing with the guys, a bunch of musicians I've never played with before, but people I know, they know me. And I'm looking at the kids running around and jumping up at the down of the music, and the women drinking their drinks and the guys eating and stuff, and it was quaint. Everything was familiar. People were at ease. Everything was comfortable and familiar. And I understand that that's the appeal of this, is that everything is in its place, and it was nice. But I'll tell you what, after 3 songs, I was bored to tears playing that music, and I guess it's just, for me, it's a drag to only meet musicians few and far between who can jam on a different level. I'm not really much of a schooled musician, but I can play with almost anybody because I know how to listen and make it up, and it's like why I don't go to blues jams, because I know they're going to go around in that circle. I'd love it to just break out and go somewhere. I could follow it, I know some other musicians can, but a lot of people can't. Just telling you what's on my mind. So that has a lot to do with why a lot of the known forms that are very familiar and loved by people are just straight boring to me. Just straight boring. Just straight fucking boring. Music-wise, I did order something. Sequoia Flame kind of talked me into it, and I'm not going to be talked into it too much because I do have to watch my money. I'm living on nothing. I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. I'm in business, and the main thing I'm trying to do is stay afloat. But I went ahead and bought Acid Mother's Temple's Son of a Bitch's Brew. I didn't look close enough. I didn't get a colored vinyl version. Big deal. Really. I've only listened to one side, but it's definitely got the bitches brew thing to the approach to the music. It's brilliant. It's really one of the better things on vinyl that I have by Acid Mothers, because they put out a lot of stuff and some of it is not listenable. It's like, oh, if I had been there, you know what I mean? It's like that. If I had been there, it'd be cool. So I bought that. Oh, regarding business, I'm out of mailers. I have to have them made locally. So I have some orders that came in, and hopefully I'll get the call that the mailers are done and I'll pick them up today. But I have some orders that I can't fill until the mailers come in, just FYI. Other thoughts? Well, I don't know that it's directed at me, but it came to my attention that someone was bashing drum machines, and that's fine because I'm not really into drum machines, but I wanted to make this observation about my records. Of course, I would love to have real drums on my records. People that don't make music or record, you don't know what's involved, how much effort it takes, to get these things done. And I made this music the best way I could, which is as close to as free as possible, which is why both of my albums are heavily laden with the drum machine, because that's what I can afford. When I laid down several tracks at one time with Gary on drums, that was only one that I could use because I wasn't happy with the others. Now I can play drums, but the thing is, I live in a neighborhood and I'm conscientious, and it's like I don't have a basement. I would have to borrow the drums, set them up in the living room. I would have to sacrifice my living room to make it a studio to practice, okay? I'm just trying to explain to maybe some of you folks that might be bitching about, maybe you get ear fatigue listening to my album because there's no real drums. It's a drum machine. But I was able to make that music, you know what I'm saying? And I just want people to understand that maybe don't know what it takes to do these things, I want drums on my records. You just can't make it happen. I mean, if I had money and access, which is how really a lot of records have been made over through the years. People just had the money. Well, I want to make a record. Well, I got the money. Okay. I can make records, but I don't have any money. If I had access to a studio and a drum set. Matter of fact, this is not an ego statement. This is a fact. If I had access to a studio and drums and other instruments, I could make these stoner records, these stoner rock albums that everyone's buying. A lot of that stuff I won't buy, because now that I listen to it, and it's like, I can play this. I can play better than this. Why would I buy this? A lot of stuff like that historically, like Blue Cheer, that's different. That's the beginnings of it. But all these bands coming along now that are just doing it and making these records with these cool covers, it's like, if I was independently rich, I would buy some of those records. But when I listen to them, it's like, I can do better than this, And some of you guys that might think I'm bullshitting, I'd show you in a minute. You give me a studio and a full complement of instruments and a day, I'll make a couple of dope smoking albums. I'm telling you, I can do it. I can, These are things that are on my mind, I told you guys it's part of my seasonal depression. It's not because something's wrong. It's the chemistry, okay? And so I just got to ride this out till it's over. It'll be gone. But see how it's coloring me in my thoughts, my mood. What else? Yesterday I played a bunch of music yesterday and didn't do much. Today I need to get out and do some walking. My belly's getting big again. That's no good. God, that's the one other thing about being old is, you exercise and you walk and you have immediate results. You stop and you have immediate results. Shit. But I was playing this yesterday, Stars of the Lid, avec laudanum. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Digging the hell out of Sandy Gold, y'all. Digging this. Playing this a bunch. Big mouth, big mouth. That shit's cool. What else did I pop yesterday? Over here. Let's go over here. I pulled Amorphous Androgynous. Part of what's fun about the Facebook thing is that talking to people and seeing what they're playing can influence and inspire what you're playing, you know, in a good way. And sometimes you just choose to ignore what people are doing. But the Facebook interaction has allowed me to remember records that I didn't remember I didn't have. For example, Thorsten Boos, German fella, I think. We got to talking, and we were talking about Green Brain and E-Rock, who was in the band Grobschnitt. Turns out that E-Rock, after that, all that, got involved in post-punk, Philip Boa and the Voodoo Club. Well, sure enough, I got one of those records. E-Rock plays on this. I had forgotten. I did actually know that. Because when I looked at it, I said, oh yeah, that's right. That's partially why I bought it. I thought, what the hell is E-Rock doing on here? But it was through the discussion on Facebook that I was reminded that I have this record, and I like this. I dedicate my soul to you. And I also have this other Philip Boa record. I don't like as much, but I love the cover. Look at that cool-ass cover. Philip Boa and the Voodoo Club, Aristocracy. I understand these guys are huge in Germany. Don't hear shit about them in America. So that is one of the things that I like. I continue to come over here into the YouTube and watch videos. I do. And I let you know that I'm watching, you know. I do. I'm still, ain't nothing changed, you know. VC forever, okay? VC forever. This is fantastic. Just fantastic. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say is I do really like Icky Blossoms. Not because these guys are my friends. I mean, that's important to me. But I was listening to the CD the other night. I couldn't sleep, but I was laying in bed listening to the CD. And my favorite songs on here are Stark Weather, not even the songs that I wrote. This is good. It just gets better. It starts off kind of bare bones. And it just keeps just opening up. I like the way that they did that. Sex to the Devil, Burn Rubber, Temporary Freakout, and Stark Weather. I love those songs. Icky Blossoms. Another thought I'm having is that, you know, Icky Blossoms and Indrima, you know, we are bumping heads a little bit as far as business. For example, Indrima had to pass on a gig. I'm not happy about it, but it's business, and I understand. Washed Out is on tour. Washed Out played. Let me get the record so you know what I'm talking about. Got it right here. Come on. Watkins, Washed Out. Here we go. Okay. Washed Out is one guy, basically. Really like this. But he's on tour and played in Lincoln, Nebraska last night. You know, I know what happened. The guys that booked the gigs locally, they approached Icky Blossoms about opening for Washed Out in Lincoln, which they took. Then they approached Indrima to open for Washed Out tonight in Omaha. Nick turned it down I understand business, okay? That's why I'm not mad. It makes sense that his top priority, business-wise, is Icky Blossoms because it's kind of trying to happen. So he takes the gig with Washed Out last night with Icky Blossoms, knows that he couldn't. Would be rough on him to do Icky Blossoms last night and then in Dreama tonight, opening for the same band. I understand psychologically. Am I disappointed? Yeah. I mean, I want to play these gigs, but I understand business, and it's also why I hate business. I'm interested in living, and I'm not interested in becoming a fantastic businessman. If anything, I keep watching the world and seeing how we don't have a choice but to just desperately stay on this wheel that is broken. The wheel of commerce is broken. We played it out. Man, I swear I saw this as a kid. I said, man, don't these adults see that this can't go forever? Don't they see that this has an end? We keep talking about like this is going to go on forever. It can't. And we're already at that point and we're still talking like we can fix it. But we can't, folks. We have to, it's over. The great Western way is over. I know that that's not something anyone wants to hear. And a lot of you people think I'm full of shit and don't know what I'm saying. And when I say it's over, that could mean that it takes 50 years for it to keep grinding to a halt. But the best days of Western economy and capitalism are over, are behind us. If that cycle would return, it's going to be like down the road, maybe a couple hundred years. It won't be in 5, 10, it won't even be in 15 years. And everyone's running on false hope, as well as people who have it going on keep telling you to hold on and everything's going to be all right because they got it going on. And that's the only reason why they say it is because, well, I'm fine. As long as it's working for me. Don't mess this up. I say these things because they're true. They're my observations. I'm not making this up. Nothing is being done. I mean, let me put it like this. I don't like the fact that the government is a welfare state. I don't know what alternative we have. What do you, it's like already I see the evidence of it now, home invasions, people boosting people on the street for nickels and dimes, just the level of hostility and incivility that's going on. I mean, it's here now. The breakdown is here. It has a lot to do with why one of the main things I'm doing is kind of sitting tight playing records. It's like I love the world, but I go out in the world and do stuff, and it's just like the main thing I pick up is this psychic residue of how crazy and out of balance things are. And mostly I can't wait to get back home. And that's why music and my hobby are so important to me. This connection to you all is important to me. Sometimes this is just a lot easier to be connected with you folks like this. I can sit alone, but I know I'm with you all. You know what I'm saying? My brother visited yesterday. I love my brother, but he's very codependent. You know what I'm saying? He's very codependent. He just come and just said, it's like you're like a dad to me, You and my other brother James, you guys are like dad. After dad left, you guys taught me everything. Well, that's fine, but I don't want to be your dad, and I'm not your dad, and I'm not going to take care of you. And that's part of what's going on with my brother. He's trying to get his life back together and keeps asking for people to do it for him. I'm not. That doesn't work. I've had my ass on the street 3 separate times. It was my own fault. I had to get it together with the help of others, but it's like I still haven't got it completely together. I have a lot of responsibilities that I'm like you all. No one's perfect. Before you get here, I have a whole lot of house cleaning to do. The house is not a total wreck, But I definitely got to clean this bitch up before you get here. You know, nobody's perfect. I think the last thing I'll muse on is that is a lot of where my unrest is that it seems like a big part of what's been going on with capitalism is fooling people. If I can fool you into doing my bidding or buying my product or endorsing me, then that's all that matters. I see that as a big part of capitalism is to fool people. Politics right now is about fooling people. All these politicians talking all this stuff and making these promises. Any body that's half awake, all you have to do is look at history and see how it goes. They can't follow through on even a fifth of what they promise, and yet we keep going on with this charade. Why do we want to believe the lie? Why do we want to believe the illusion? I don't want to fool you. I could be up here trying to fool you so I could get something out of you. I don't like that. So why would I want to feed into that behavior? Okay? I see politics is trying to fool people. I see organized religions up to the same shit, trying to fool people. These institutions may have had purposes in the beginning that were worthwhile, but the problem is that man can't get away from self-serving, and that's always the problem. People are serving themselves behind the veil of doing something in the service of others, and they just keep doing it, and we just keep letting it happen, and we just keep accepting it. It makes me crazy, you know. Politics is broken. We cannot, no solutions to any of our problems are going to come through politics. The churches and the religions, the Sikh thing in Wisconsin with the guy that shot the people, all this madness because of people's ideas. I mean, the fact that the news is still saying, well, he's dead, he was a white supremacist, but we're still not sure of a motive. Are you really that stupid? I guess you are, because it's obvious to me. He had a philosophical point of view. It's right there in the words, white supremacist. What more do you need to know? Dumbass motherfuckers? God. See, that's partially my depression that, it just, I'd be looking at things and it's like, God damn, this shit's fucked. This is what's on my mind, people. Love y'all.